Hello there, welcome to my channel. Now that we are familiar with the supralateral surface of cerebrum, it's a time to see what's there for us in the medial and inferior surface. So let's move. But if anybody haven't seen my video regarding the supralateral surface, please go to the description and follow the link because it will help you to understand this session much better. So we are in the medial aspect now. Other than sulci and gyri like supralateral surface, we will see other structures like corpus callosum, lamina terminalis, etc. So the corpus callosum interconnects our brain hemispheres and it is divided into rostrum, genu, body and the splenium. And the lamina terminalis is a structure which contains a vascular organ that regulates the osmotic concentration of blood. And the septum pellucidum and fornix. Right now, we are not well sure about the function of these two structures, but still these two structures are anatomically relevant. Now let's move to the sulci and gyri. There are 7 sulci and 7 gyri in the medial aspect of cerebral hemisphere. So let's see each of them. The 7 sulci present in the medial aspect are the cingulate sulcus, callosal sulcus, parieto-occipital sulcus, calcarine sulcus, anterior para-olfactory sulcus, posterior para-olfactory sulcus and suprasplenial sulcus. And there are 7 gyri also in the medial aspect, and these are the cingulate gyrus, cuneus gyrus, precuneus gyrus, paracentral lobule, medial frontal gyrus, paraterminal gyrus and the para-olfactory gyrus. So these are the features we will see in the medial aspect of cerebrum. And now let's move to each of them. The parts of corpus callosum include rostrum, genu, body and splenium. The pointed part we will see anteriorly is the rostrum, and there is a bend near, that is genu, and a horizontal part is called body, and the expanded posterior end is what we call as splenium. And now let's see another structure called lamina terminalis. It represents the cranial end of the primitive neural tube, which is very important in terms of embryology. So we will see here that the lamina terminalis is extending from the rostrum to the optic chiasma. So that's the extent of the lamina terminalis. So embryologically, this structure is very important. Now let's see the fornix. It is attached from inferior surface of the corpus callosum, and from them the fibers project forwards in front of the interventricular foramen where it disappears. So let's see the fornix in this diagram. As you can see, it will extend from the inferior surface of corpus callosum and it projects forward to the interventricular foramen. And let's move to septum pellucidum. That one is actually a bilaminar partition composed of grey and white matters. It extends between inferior surface of corpus callosum and the fornix. Now let's see all the sulcus and gyrus. First one, the cingulate sulcus. This one is lying parallel to the curve of the corpus callosum. Between the corpus callosum and cingulate sulcus, you will see this gyrus, which is named as cingulate gyrus. So you are able to see that in this diagram. See, the highlighted areas are all gyrus. Now the anterior para-olfactory sulcus. This one is lying anterior to lamina terminalis, as you can see in this diagram. And behind that there is posterior para-olfactory sulcus. In between these two sulcus you will see this gyrus, which we call as para-olfactory gyrus. So it is between this posterior para-olfactory sulcus and the anterior para-olfactory sulcus. So you can relate these two sulcus and gyrus. And behind the posterior para-olfactory sulcus, anterior to lamina terminalis, you will see the paraterminal gyrus. So anterior to posterior you will see anterior para-olfactory sulcus, para-olfactory gyrus, posterior para-olfactory sulcus and paraterminal gyrus. Now let's see the callosal sulcus. As the name suggests, it is nothing but the sulcus of the corpus callosum, which separates the corpus callosum from the cingulate gyrus. And let's see the paracentral lobule. This one is a small area situated near the central sulcus, as you can see in this diagram. anterior to paracentral lobule and superior to cingulate gyrus, you will see the medial frontal gyrus, which extends all around the anterior surface of the medial aspect of the cerebral hemisphere, as you can see in this diagram. Now let's move to the calcarine sulcus. This one is an important sulcus in the whole cerebrum. So the calcarine sulcus, it arises below the corpus callosum and extending up to the occipital lobe. And from its midpoint, another sulcus originates, that is what we call as the parieto-occipital sulcus. And in between these two sulcus, that is the parieto-occipital sulcus and the calcarine sulcus, there is a triangular area which is what we call as the cuneus gyrus. So the boundary of cuneus gyrus is between the parieto-occipital sulcus and the calcarine sulcus. And there is another gyrus beside this cuneus gyrus, that is what we call as precuneus gyrus, and it is between the parieto-occipital sulcus and the central sulcus, as you can see in this diagram, and it lies above the cingulate gyrus. And there is a gyrus called the sulcus called the suprasplenial sulcus. As you can see here, it lies above the splenium of the corpus callosum and below the parietal lobe, so it is also called as subparietal sulcus. So let's wind up this session. Actually, my plan was to deal with the inferior surface along with the medial surface, but now it's not possible because the video is getting much lengthy. So please forgive me. I'll be uploading the inferior surface very soon as a separate video. So be alert, stay tuned, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and please note down your comment in the comment section. It will encourage me and it will correct me and it will help me to understand my mistakes, and I will be uploading more and more videos more in a better way. So we'll see in another video. Till then, goodbye. Signing off. This is Dr. Smart.